everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining me, Stuart Pilkinson here, and today's episode is going to take a huge attempt. This is a real reach. I'm going to try to sum up, and this I'll clarify, it's what I understand, that's what we'll do. What I understand yoga philosophy to be and spirituality to be in a definitive sense. Now this is where it gets difficult. Yoga doesn't have one set of philosophical ideas. It doesn't have one idea of theology or philosophy. It's not a single or definitive thread of thought. There isn't an original yoga. Instead, it's more accurate to say that yoga as a tradition has many different ideas and many different principles and techniques, all of which have their own understanding and worldview. Throughout its history, yoga has been interpreted in different ways, depending on what the culture, what the people have needed at the time, what the teacher has been influenced in their life and from their teachers, and importantly, what practices have been most relevant to the people of that time. Some yoga practices are deeply religious. That's often misunderstood from people outside of yoga, even within yoga. Religious practice is part of yoga in some circles. But in large part, yoga can be entirely secular. Some focus on the material world, others focus on more spiritual aspirations. Certain traditions have ideas of reincarnation and afterlife, others don't. But despite this incredible diversity, for me, from all of my research and all my understanding, and I'm completely honest, it's very limited. It's only the things that I've come across and read and heard myself. I feel there is one uniting idea across the yoga tradition, and it's this one. At its heart, yoga is a self-revelatory practice. It's to reveal something about your personhood, about who you are at your deepest level. And what it says, that if you go deep enough, your essence is simply this awareness that you're alive. That's it. It doesn't even label what that awareness is, what that present awareness is. You don't need to believe that it's eternal. You don't need to believe that it hasn't come out of the material world or the brain. Just the very fact that you can experience this sense of aliveness, that you're living. That's the fundamental principle of yoga. Now I'm going to take it further, because this is where things get a little more challenging. If you think about, particularly in the modern world, when someone talks about you getting to know who you are on the deepest level, and for you to make that next step, you need to know who you are and what makes you tick and who you are at your essence. They're usually meaning your character, your personality, your desires, the things that you most want or most connect to. So that's cool, but yoga says, no, that's still part of your personhood. There's something deeper. There's something deeper than the character. There's something deeper than the personality. And this is the bit that gets tricky. The essence of you, the deepest aspect of you, isn't individual to you. But that's why it's sacred. It's sacred because it's the thing that you share with all beings, with everybody. That's the beautiful idea of spirituality and of yoga. That's the idea of interconnectedness. As far as I can understand it, it means it in a very, very real sense. If you go deep enough, we are really all connected. We are really all the same. And again, you don't need to define that as being eternal, or that it lives forever, or it goes somewhere else as spirit or soul. Just the fact, this sense of aliveness, this sense of present awareness, connect with that, you will feel more connected to the world around you. And maybe, just maybe, that pulls us out of isolation, it pulls us out of some of our trauma, and it helps us feel that we are part of something much grander than our own wants, desires, needs, doubts, fears, angers. This simple idea is the reason why yoga is so open and accessible. You can be religious and practice yoga. You can be an atheist. You can be agnostic. You can be someone who doesn't really know or want to define what their spiritual stance is. Yoga doesn't require you to join a political division. It doesn't ask you to give up anything about yourself. It doesn't ask you to come into conflict with your own personal beliefs. Nor does it ask you to take on new ones. The heart of its philosophy is quite broad. It's open and it's welcoming. No matter where you are or where you're coming from, you can practice yoga. You can learn about the philosophy. You can connect to this idea because it's not just a cognitive idea. It's not just a word game. It's something that the practices help you experience a sense of inner peace, a sense of stillness. So then you go, okay, kind of sounds all right, but how does that benefit me? So I'll share my experience. And the best way for me to explain it, I think, is with lockdown. So during lockdown, one of the things that I noticed most with friends of mine was that so much of their life had actually been built around their character, their personality, who they thought they were, and what they thought was their essence was yoga teacher or personal trainer, but yoga teacher, let's use that because that's people I know most. And all their happiness was built around that. Not that that's wrong, but that means that when that's taken away, you feel abandoned. You feel worthless and pointless. The yoga practice, for me, is helping us understand that we're more than that. Yes, these things are incredible. It's not to doubt them or relegate them in any way. I love being part of the yoga community. I love practicing yoga. I love being a yoga teacher. But I have to connect to that. At my essence, I'm something more than that. And so if I have to stop practicing yoga tomorrow, that's cool because I'm still me. I don't lose any of me. It might sound idealistic, but I think yoga for the large part is proposing to do that and attempting to do that. But if we can all live in a way that we are more connected and more centered to one another, maybe, just maybe, life is a little more balanced and a little happier and a little more joyful and peaceful. That alone is a reason to practice yoga. And that is alone a reason to study the philosophy. To really ingrain that idea in your mind and in your hearts that if I go deep enough, I'm connected to everyone and everything. We're all one big, beautiful family that are moving through this life and sharing this beautiful place that we call Earth together. And again, many different traditions have lots of different ideas based around that. But from all the ones, at least that I've studied, that's the heart of it. That's the idea of interconnectedness. That's the Hatha and the Tantra influence. We're all connected. We are all the same fundamental components of this beautiful thing that we call life. Thank you so much for listening. That was my stab at Yoga Philosophy 101. I will see you next time. We're going to stay with this theme of philosophy. We'll explore a few more different specific components, see where it takes us. Thank you for listening all. Like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment, get the message out there. Yoga's the one, baby. See you next time.